What's up, man? Happy Black History Month. I'm here to talk about John Fitzgerald Kennedy. We're going to open up the archives today and we're going to talk about his assassination. Before we do that, right, I want to give my take on my personal observation on my 40 plus years of me coexisting on this earth and seeing what I've saw.
Oh yeah.
Black History Month, about Black History period. History period. You feel me? My thing is like this, yo. Like, do I think the civil rights movement was worth it? No. I honestly think it wasn't worth it. And here's my personal observation, right? I noticed something, like, let me move my chair, man, so people can hear this. My thing is like this, man. I noticed that a lot of people, or that's my kind during this particular time, they ain't had no balls, yo. And what I mean by not having no balls, like, they didn't have that Black Panther type of attitude, that Malcolm X kind of attitude. They didn't have no backbone. They didn't have no balls, basically. Like, no balls. Like, you can sit up here and have a racist dude, no matter if he black, white, green, purple, or blue. No matter what race they are, you feel me? No man need to be treated negatively like how my ancestors were. Grow a set of balls and kick their ass. I'm still trying to figure out how the hell did they get a chance to even transport these people. I'm still trying to figure that out. I ain't trying to hear, oh, they had guns and all this and all that. Man, these people were warriors, man. These people were warriors. And I'm like, if they were warriors, like, how come they renege and bow down to a dude or chicks that had the gun? Or this Bible that they love so much? Like, help me make it make sense, yo. Help me understand that, yo. I just don't get it, bro. Then you got the fake civil rights leaders. You feel me? And what I mean by the fake civil rights leaders, the one that's only in it for the propaganda, the money. They only in it for the loot, the popularity, the notoriety, and the publicity. They use this as a united front. Some of them were rapists. Some of them were pedophilians. Some of them were homosexuals. Some of them were cons. Some of them weren't actually like Christian pastors or reverends. You feel me? A total united front for their own personal gain or leverage. And this is the people who we celebrate. I'm not saying all of them were fake, but most of them were. And believe it or not, like y'all, some people play, I ain't gonna say y'all, some people play like y'all say the enemy, the white man. Believe it or not, y'all. And then this, like I told you, this is just my observation. They helped us, yo. They helped us. They gave us grants. They gave us money. Some of them marched with our people. You see what I'm saying? But they always try to find an excuse. White man, this, white man, that. Everything is about the white man. Believe it or not, not all white men and white women are evil. Not all of them. That's just another saga that I can talk about. I can also talk about how white people came on the boat. But I ain't talking about that. We're talking about black history, and we're going to be talking about the president. The same president that got his head blown off because he wanted peace. He didn't want nobody to be beefing no more. And just to let you know, he was surveillancing everybody. Yes, even the civil rights leaders as well. You feel me? Even people that's like on his side. Basically, John wanted to get rid of corruption. Secret societies, the mob, all of the above. Okay? You know, one thing that like really trips me out about the Dixiecrats, I'm going to say Dixiecrats. I'm not going to say the Democrats. I say the Dixiecrats. The Dixiecrats been enabling black people for years, man. That gimme syndrome. I need this. I need that. I need. What about you actually getting up and going, getting what you want? Go out there and be a go-getter. Go out there and find that kind of and type of career that you actually deserve to have. Instead of waiting, you working minimum wage and you got like 3-4 kids just so you can get back 12 grand. Whereas though you can make 12 grand in like a whole 365 days and probably less than that. You see what I'm saying? Less time than that. We're talking about 365 days just so you can get 12 racks. Knowing daggone well you can probably get like close to 12 racks. Probably less than like 2 weeks. Hey, they got jobs out there that pay you money. They got jobs out there that can pay you dough, man. And then that's another thing too, yo. The Dixiecrats got these black women or these poverty women caught up in thinking like they could just have babies and just get all these benefits and insurances and food stamps and vouchers and what else? Welfare check and child support check. It's so many checks that these women are getting. I wish I could get some of that money. You feel me? That's it's free money. Like, hey. But then again, it's not free money because it's going on in the next nigga. You know what I'm saying? That's a bill. You feel me? Like, that's an 18-year bill, and then you got to still pay the bill, and you got to stay on time with the bill. You see what I'm saying? But then, do you think these poverty women care about niggas getting locked up? Nah, they don't care. I know, because I'm one of them niggas that's on child support. I'm on child support, and I've been on child support for 17 years. Thank goodness, by the good graces of Buddha, my financial situation with child support is almost over, man. You know what I'm saying? So, that's another thing that like trips me out, man. These women don't care about whether if the brother man gets locked up. They don't care if he loses his crib. They don't care if he loses his job. They don't care if he loses his freedom. Only thing they care about is financial leverage. Knowing that you can get up, go get a job, a decent paying job, and worry about handling your business. Instead of worrying about the government handling your business, you need to go out there and handle your business. And that's the part that gets me, yo. Like these women want handouts, man. And then another thing, like, with the Dixiecrats, this is the part that like really had me scratching my head about the Dixiecrats, yo. And then we're gonna talk about JFK, man, because he wanted to end all this crap, man. This is the part that really trips me out about the Dixiecrats, yo. The Section 8, right? I'm so glad the president that we have right now decided to cut off all these benefits for us, how poverty people is getting all these benefits and they not actually going out there and busting their ass to go out there to get exactly what they want. I remember one time I went to the market, right? And I was with my wife, you know what I'm saying? And it was a lady that just came out of nowhere and she couldn't pay, you know, all her groceries and stuff, right? So she was complaining and she was doing like returns and all this extra stuff. And she was complaining about like, yeah, Donald Trump is doing this, Donald Trump is doing that. He cut off my food stamps. He cut off my welfare check. And he cut off my Section 8. In the back of my mind, I'm sorry, I don't want to sound like a real jerk or anything, but I ain't gonna hold you, yo. You know how good that made me feel? And here's the reason why, okay? Now, like I said, man, you gotta survive out here, right? It's either cook or be cooked. And right now, a nigga getting up and going to work every day is cooking. You feel me? A nigga that's sitting down on his ass or her ass every single day and just waiting for a check to come, nigga. Unless you got some type of disability or something, you're not cooking right now. You know what I'm saying? You're getting all these free benefits and just sitting back and just blowing on a whole bunch of nothing. And this, like I said, man, they get these women the Section 8s, right? And they leave the poverty area. They want to get away from the hood. But for some reason, they want to be in the suburban middle class and just bring that ignorant niggerdom. I'm keeping it a buck. They bring that trash mentality, that niggerdom, that ignorant nonsense out into the urban, suburban areas or the middle class areas and start bringing the drugs, the poverty, the murders, the robberies. You bringing all that hood stuff out there in the freaking middle class areas. And that's the part that like really blows me with the Dixiecrats. Then when the benefits is cut off and they spending like, let's just say they get an apartment like $3,000. You know what I'm saying? You getting a $3,000 a month apartment. You think somebody can afford 3 racks a month? Nigga, that's a celebrity. You heard me? That's a celebrity. What person you know that's Section 8 renting a $3,000 apartment? Shoot, that lady that was complaining, that was doing all that complaining when I was at the market with my wife, yo, her rent was $2,300. $2,300. $2,300 if you can't even afford. I don't know about you, but shoot, I'm not spending $2,300 on no freaking apartment unless it's a daggone townhouse that can talk and actually transform, can cook and clean itself. You see what I'm saying? I wouldn't even get an apartment that's like close to $2,000. That's absurd. But the Section 8 though, people pick the most expensive house because it's coming out of your taxes, my taxes. And they just sitting on their ass and they rent like a good $1. They rent us like a good $1. You know what I'm saying? They don't want nobody in the household. Then they end up sneaking their boyfriend in the household. You know what I'm saying? They got to play this role like yeah, we can play it off. You know what I'm saying? Like, this goes to show you where the Dixiecrats go at with this whole hoopla, right? That's why I thank goodness that the President of the United States decided to cut and get rid of all of that trash. Good. Get your ass up and go get a job. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Get up and get a job. I don't care if it's a McDonald's job. I'd rather get a McDonald's job than to sit on my ass and wait for one check a month. It's like $400 to $500, maybe $600, maybe $700. Whereas you can make more than that, or double than that, or triple than that, just by getting a decent paying job. I ain't say just any job, I say a decent paying job. You feel me? But that's just my personal opinion on that. We ain't talking about that no more. We're going to be talking about John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Let me go on these archives and see what it is, man. So, what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna read the assassination. Sorry about that. I got a cold. My nose is running. I'm sorry. Let me go to the War Commission, and we're going to talk about the assassination. I want you to hear the observation what the War Commission had to say. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I can find it. Like, the archives all open. My best to y'all is like check out the research on this stuff, because you got to understand something, y'all. This is part of history. You feel me? And the reason why I say this is a part of history, for the simple fact that y'all niggas went to school on this stuff. They drilled it in your brain. They drilled it in your skull. You had to read the textbooks and all this extra stuff. Whoop-de-whoop. So why not just sit back and absorb it? You know what I'm saying? And this is another thing too. Especially this goes out for the younger crowd. You feel me? The young ones. You know what gets me about the young kids, like especially like 20 on up. I ain't talking about the teenagers, man. I'm talking about the young men and women. That goes to show you like what's important to them and what's not important. That generation is worrying about what's going on right now. That generation is not worrying about what happened yesteryear. They don't care about that. They don't care about the struggles. They don't care about the segregation. They don't care about the whips, the rapes, the lynchings, the ass whippings, the incarceration. They don't care about none of that stuff. People died for this stuff, man. People died. People died for what they believe in. Only thing people, the young folk today, the only thing they care about is getting over. It's getting over. That's all they care about, is getting over. Only thing I gotta say is about the young youth that's like 20 on up, that's like 30, getting like 20 to 30 years of age. Y'all gotta learn y'all history, man. Y'all got to, yo. If not, this whole generation is gonna be lost. Y'all generation is gonna be lost. The generation that's behind you is gonna surpass y'all. And then y'all gonna be learning history from y'all children. And then y'all gonna be learning from y'all children. Then your children gonna be learning from the other children's children. You see what I'm saying? It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that at all. Like, we as parents should school our kids instead of our kids schooling us, because we're not worrying about the education anymore. Only thing we're worrying about is the dollar. Survival, you know what I'm saying? And it goes to show you where the priorities are at, man. When I was going to school, man, I love history. His story. You feel me? His version of what actually happened. Or her version, you feel me? But I'm going to talk about the Warren Commission summary and conclusions, okay? I'm only going to read page 1, because after I read page 1, I'm going to go down to the assassination part. What happened with this dude. We're going to be talking about like different situations on this particular event, all on the same day, on November 22nd, 1963. Page 1. The assassination of John Fitzgerald Kennedy on November 22nd, 1963 was a cruel and shocking act of violence directed against a man, a family, a nation, and against all mankind. A young and vigorous leader whose years of public and private life stretched before him was the victim of the fourth presidential assassination in the history of the country, dedicated to the concepts and reasoned argument and peaceful political change. This commission was created on November the 29th, 1963, in recognition of the right people everywhere to full and trustful knowledge concerning these events. This event vendors to fulfill the right and to appraise this tragedy by the light of reasoning and the standard of fairness. It has been prepared with the deep awareness of this commission's responsibility to present to the American people an objective report of the facts relating to the assassination of John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Now, I don't know how y'all feel about that, but me personally, I'm proud of that. Because they gave this man good credit as far as what he did for this country, and he died for this country for the simple fact that this man wanted peace. There's nothing wrong with that. See, I'm a Buddhist. I'm into, having inner peace. The man wanted world peace. You feel me? So, like I said, man, I apologize. I do have a slight cold. I apologize for that. You might hear me, crunching on cough drops every now and then. You feel me? My voice is kind of weak, so I'm gonna just bear with me, y'all. All right. We're gonna go to the assassination. All right. Now, mind you, I'm gonna do now. That was one page of the Warren Commission, right? Now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to like 3 to 4 different sections that's like gonna keep you intrigued with it. You feel me? Like, if I might catch something, I might catch my eye. I might just say, the hell with it and just start reading. You feel me? Because this is real interesting, man. This is great history, man. Great history, man. We all need to learn what's going on, what's going on behind the scenes, man. Chapter 2 of John Fitzgerald Kennedy's assassination. Alright. We're going to go to the exact assassination. We're not going to talk about the luncheon. We're not going to talk about the air flights. They basically just giving a whole diabolical dialogue what happened with this man. You know what I'm saying? Like, from the luncheons to the ride, like all this stuff. Like, man, they had this completely documented. You hear? All right, let's get to the assassination, man. All right, have y'all get y'all popcorn, get y'all drink or soda or whatever it is that y'all doing. This is going to be a joyride. You hear? The assassination at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, as the president opened limo, proceeded at 11 miles per hour along Elm Street towards the triple underpass. Shots fired from a rifle merely wounded President Kennedy and seriously injured Governor Conway. One bullet passed through the president's neck, and subsequent bullet, which was fatal, shattered the right side of his skull. Governor Conway sustained bullet wounds in his neck, the right side of his chest, right wrist, and left thigh. Now, that's just a brief summary of what's going down. We just cooking right now. You feel me? Like the gasoline has just got cut on. You feel me? We ain't like the match yet, so we ain't cooking yet. You know what I'm saying? Now we're gonna go to the time frame. Excuse me. The exact time of the assassination was fixed by the testimony of 4 witnesses. Special Agent Rufus W. Youngblood observed that a large electric sign clock stopped at the Texas School Book Depository. Building showed the numerals 1230 as the vice presidential automobile proceeded north on the Houston Street. A few seconds before shots were fired. Just prior to the shooting, David F. Powers, riding in the Secret Service follow-up car, remarked to Kenneth O'Donnell it was 12:30 p.m. That time they were due at the trademark. Seconds after the shooting, Ray Kellerman, riding in the front seat of the presidential limousine, looked at his watch and said 12:30. To the driver, Special Agent Greer, the Dallas police radio log reflects the chief of police, Kerry, reported the shooting of the president and issued his additional orders at 12:30 p.m. Now, everybody was on point as far as this particular time, like at 12:30. I'm glad everybody was on point. Like, everybody is different. Everybody works different. You feel me? Just because one nigga is saying, like, look, this time says 12:30. The other dude could be like a couple of minutes off. Like, look, man. Well, I thought it was 12:33 when the nigga got hit. You know what I'm saying? Or another cat be like, look, man, I thought that brother got hit like 12:34. Like, everybody was on the same accord. Like I said, man, everybody works different. You see what I'm saying? Nobody's perfect. But as long as y'all's story is almost similar, but not 100% accurate, it's got to be persistent. We're going to talk about the speed of the limo. All right. William Greer, operator of the presidential limousine, estimated car speeds at the time of the first shot as to 12 to 15 miles per hour. Other witnesses in the motorcade estimated the speed of the president's limousine from 7 to 22 miles per hour. Which one is it? I don't know. A more precise determination has been made from motion pictures taken on the scene by an amateur photographer, Abraham Sapruder. Based on these films, the speed of the president's automobile is computed at an average speed of 11.2 miles per hour. I'm sorry. The car maintained this average speed over the distance of approximately 186 feet, immediately preceding the shot, which struck the president in the head. While the car traveled this distance, the Sapruder camera ran 152 frames. Since the camera operates at a speed of 18.3 frames per second, it was calculated that the car required 8.3 seconds to cover the 136 feet. This represents a speed of 11.2 miles per hour. Okay? Now, to be honest with you, I ain't gonna hold you. Now, we talking about 1963, right? 1963, I'm pretty sure they guns is like really dumbass trash. Now, I ain't no brain surgeon, but I am a registered firearm carrier. Okay? And from time to time, I go to the range. And I'm trying to find, the whole logic of the whole situation. Because I'm looking at the Warren Commission, right? The Warren Commission really don't make sense. And I'm pretty sure you're going to understand what I'm talking about. Okay? And we're going to get there. All right? So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to read In the Presidential Limousine. Okay? Because we're going to talk about what happened during that time when Jackie was around her husband while he was getting whacked. You feel me? Let me see. Where can I start? In the limousine. Okay? Mrs. John Fitzgerald Kennedy on the left of the rear seat of the limousine looked towards her left and waved to the crowd along the rear. I'm sorry, I had to get a pen. Soon after motorcade turned into Elm Street, she heard a sound similar to a motorcycle noise and a cry from the Governor Conley, which caused her to look to her right. On turning, she saw a quizzical look on her husband's face as he raised his hands to his throat. Mrs. Kennedy then heard the second shot and saw the president's skull torn open under the impact of a bullet. As she cradled her mortally wounded husband, Mrs. Kennedy cried, "Oh my God, they shot my husband. I love you, Jack." I'm pretty sure she was scared like hell. Governor Conley testified that he recognized the first noise as a rifle shot, and that thought immediately crossed his mind that it was an assassination attempt. From his position in the right seat jumped immediately in front of the president. He instantly turned to his right because the shot appeared to come from over his right shoulder. To see the president as he turned to the right, the governor started to look back over to his left shoulder, but never completed the turn because he felt something strike him in the back. In his testimony before the commission, Governor Conley was concerned that he was hit by a second shot, which he did not hear. Mrs. Conley, too, heard a frightening noise from her right. Looking over her right shoulder, she saw that the president had both hands on his neck. She observed no blood and heard nothing. She watched and slumped down and an empty expression on his face. Roy Kellerman, in the right seat of the limousine, heard a report like a firecracker pop. Turning to his direction of the noise, Kellerman heard the president say, "My God, I am hit," and saw both the president's hands move up towards his neck. As he told the driver, "Let's get out of here. We are hit." Kellerman grabbed the microphone and radioed ahead to lead car. "We are hit. Get us to the hospital immediately." The driver, William Greer, heard a noise which he took to be a backfire from one of the motorcycles flanking the president's car. When he heard the same noise again, Greer glanced over his shoulder and saw Governor Conley fall At the sound of the second shot, he realized that something was wrong. He pressed down on the accelerator as Kellerman said, "Get out of here fast." As he issued his instruction to Greer into the lead car, Kellerman heard a flurry of shots within 5 seconds. Dang, well, it must be nice, yeah. Of the first noise. According to Kellerman, Mrs. Kennedy then cried out, "What are they doing to you?" Looking back from the front seat, Kellerman saw Governor Conley and his wife in his wife's lap, and Special Agent Clifton J. Hill lying across the trunk of the car. Mrs. Conley heard the second shot fired and pulled her husband down into her lap. Observing his blood-covered chest and he was pulled into his wife's lap, Governor Conley believed himself mortally wounded. He cried out, "No, oh no, 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 my God, they are going to kill us all." At first, Mrs. Conley thought her husband had been killed, but then she noticed almost imperceptible movement and knew that he was still alive. She said, "It's all right, be still." The governor was lying with his head on his wife's lap when he heard a shot hit the president. At that point, both Governor and Mrs. Conley observed brain tissue splattered all over the interior of the car. Wow. According to Governor and Mrs. Conley, it was after this shot that Kellerman issued his emergency instructions and the car accelerated. Wow. That was crazy, man. That was crazy, man. Let me take a break because I'm starting to get a headache right now. Well, I mean, look, man, my thing is like this, yo. If they felt as though that this man was that much of a problem, y'all, then why did they let this man be the president of the United States? Why? Because he wanted to unveil the secret societies? Is that what that was? Why he wanted to expose all the fake?
You're trained not to think, but to react. Mr. Nicoletti asked me, said, if you back me up, Jimmy, he says, "Oh, where do you think would be the best spot for you?" I said, "Well, the spot I like best is up on the grassy knoll behind that stockade fence." He says, "Why there?" I said, "I got the railroad guard for cover." I said, "In my clothes, I can turn my jacket inside out." I said, "It's plaid on the inside. It looks like railroad workers. Somebody out there wearing a flannel shirt. Nobody's going to pay no attention to me." I said, "I can go over there. I can walk around a piece of chalk, walk up and down with box cars, cross the railroad tracks, look at things. I'd just be another worker. Nobody would even look at me." And he said, "Okay." He says, what weapon are you going to use over there?" And I told him, Chuck, I said, "Well, what's the situation?" Chuck said, "We're going for a headshot now." I said, "This, I understand. I realize this." He said, "You're not going to fire unless it becomes a necessity." He says, "If I miss," he said, "then it's going to be up to you." He said, "But you don't fire," he said, "unless I miss." He said, "It's going to be your call at that point." He said, "So you gotta be very alert on this." And I told him, "Don't worry about me." I said, "I got it, boss." And he said, "What are you going to use?" I said, "I'm going to use the fireball." And he looked at me and said, Why the fireball?" Now the fireball, people don't know what a fireball is. It's like a cut down rifle. It's actually basically this long. The weapon was well ahead of its time. This was one of the prototypes the agency got a hold of it had been manufactured by Remington. Now, a lot of people are going to tell you that this particular weapon was not available at that time, but this weapon was available. It didn't go on sale until a few years later. But this weapon had been manufactured as early as 1961. We had a lot of trouble with barrel blowing up on it. Used too big a round on it or something, overloads in it. A lot of problems with it, but they finally reinforced the barrel. We got it where it worked pretty good. And Chuck asked me, he says, why that fireball? So you've only got one shot. Because the Remington Fireball 222 is a single shot bolt action pistol. You can mount a scope on it. So, well, if I'm going to wait until you're through, I said, I'm only going to get one shot anyway, so it don't really matter. I said, because I'll never get a chance for a second shot if I wait until the last possible moment. He said, okay. He said, it's your call.
Where'd you get hold of a prototype weapon like the XP-100?
It was given to me by David Phillips. I'd received this maybe a year prior, 8 months, a year prior to the assassination. The gun had been used twice before on assassinations, but nobody like a president or nothing. But it was good for using. You want to get into a close place area or somewhere, somebody might say, well, why use a pistol? Well, anybody that knows their weapons, this particular piece is very accurate, up to 100 yards. At 100 feet, I'm talking about we're shooting now from the grassy knoll down to the highway to the street there, we're talking roughly 30, 35 yards. We're only talking 100 feet. This is like shooting fish in a barrel, and especially with a little 3-power scope on it. But the weapon had been used before, but you could put it in a briefcase, you could walk anywhere with it, nobody paid any attention to it. The case that I had set up, I had a little loading press inside for it, in case I had to manufacture anything. I had a little holder for all the special rounds that were in it. Everything was packed in foam rubber inside. The case was watertight, waterproof.
What the case look like?
The case was black. It was like an oversized briefcase, basically speaking. And had a little metal flaps on it, for locking it up. You could lock the case, but I wasn't concerned about locking it. But the thing is, you could paint it, you could go anywhere, you look like a businessman with it. And I thought that was the best weapon to go with. And so Mr. Nicoletti agreed with me on it. He said, okay, it's your call, Jimmy. Now, I did not drop Charles Nicoletti or Johnny Roselli off at the Dowtech building. They got into the building, they were there on their own. I told him where the car would be, it's his car, he knows his car. He knows what my job is. They'll be in the car, he'll be in the front seat, Johnny will be in the back seat, I'll get under the driver's wheel. I'll set my briefcase between the front and the back seat, we'll drive away. After I took Charles Nicoletti back to the hotel, I went back to the plaza, secured the car, got my briefcase out with a gun with a fireball in it. I went into the railroad yard. I secured that over there, put it away so nobody see it. Reversed my jacket inside out. I'd taken my hat, break door like, and my jacket was a gray poplin. We had these car jackets back then. They were like waist length, not a short jacket. They kind of come down a little bit. There's no car jacket length. Made out of a material that they no longer use. Was called poplin. You might remember that material. The poplin material, grayish color, had a shine to it. Excuse me. That's what the jacket was like that I was wearing. A pair of gray pants with it. And I reversed the jacket and it had the offset flags in it, like, kind of like checker on the inside. When I turned it over, it looked like one of the old gray flannel shirts that we used to wear out, when you're doing work in the yard or something or other. Excuse me. And I walked around the railroad yard and I waited for the time to pass. Time was coming on. And when I was the roar of the crowd, I'd been over by the fence and I got there a few minutes early. And I'd look up and I'd look over the fence and I was looking for people. What I was looking for was not to see who I knew, but I was looking for people that would be carrying a bulge like up under their arm. I'm looking for somebody with a weapon. I'm looking for security people. Cops, undercover, security, off-duty, whoever might be carrying a weapon. Bulge along their hip, behind their back, like I say, under the arm in a shoulder holster. I'm looking for these little bulges. Most people don't pay no attention to that. But this is what I'm looking for. But then my amazement, I recognized several people. A lot of people say Jack Ruby was never there, but he was there before the motorcade got there. I know that for a fact. But I was that close. I'm looking at the back side of him, and I'm pretty sure that was him. And I stayed away from the fence. I stayed basically in the yard, walk over the fence, look over it, then a minute, then walk back away again. But I was observing the area.
Were you smoking cigarettes anymore?
I was smoking that day. Careless. I probably stepped on several cigarette butts and left them there. Most of them palm off. It was very muddy. Let me put it this way. I a couple of times even took my shoes, put them up on the full of concrete ledger and scraped the mud off the bottom of them.
The gunmetal gray limousine, blue and gray. The President and Mrs. Kennedy seated on the back seat. Governor and Mrs. Connolly on the second seat or jump seats. And then the official driver and Secret Service men are in the front seat. We'll go Mockingbird Lane to Lemon Avenue. Then travel south on Lemon to Turtle Creek, Cedar Springs, through the downtown area on Harwood to Maine, west on Maine to Houston, through the Triple Underpass, Stevens Freeway, then on to the Trademark. The President's car is now turning onto Elm Street, and it will be only a matter of minutes before he arrives at the Trademark. Just now, we received reports here at Parkland that Governor Connolly was shot in the upper left chest, and the first unconfirmed reports say the President was hit in the head. That's an unconfirmed report that the President was hit in the head. A freeze has been ordered. Emergency supplies of drugs also being rushed to the hospital.
I was where you got the concrete steps that go down by the pergola there, and between the pergola and the stockade fence, you got a set of concrete steps that go down. I was to the right of those. I'm gonna say 8 to 10 feet down there. There was a tree branch that hung right over me. I was behind that, kind of giving me a little camouflage. This was just a few minutes before the motorcade got there. If something happens and I have to shoot, I don't have to shoot anybody else unless it becomes a necessity. So I'd walk away from the fence. I come back over, secured everything, got it ready. I could hear the rumble, the people murmuring, so the motorcade's approaching. So then I got ready, opened it up. I'm holding the Remington fireball down below the fence at this point. Motorcade come down, that Main Street there, come down, and Houston turned back around on the Elm there and come down that little side drive there. Oh, when it come down and made its first right, that's when I brought the weapon up. And then I'm over the fence, and as they come down and made the turn on down there, that's when I started focusing through the scope and following the car. As shots started ringing out, I started counting the shots, but I'm not counting like 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm counting them miss, 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 because I know we're going for the headshot. So I don't care how many rounds are being fired as long as we get a headshot. But I'm hearing the shots being fired, I'm counting them as a miss, miss. And that's the only thing I'm concerned about. I've got this sign there, the Simmons Freeway, that is fixing to come into my field of fire. As far as I can see at this point, the President has not been hit in the head at this time. I've seen the body lurch. I know he's been hit. How serious, I don't know. But my last instructions were we're going for a headshot. If you have to take a shot, take it. But don't fire unless it's a necessity, unless you really have to. He said, Jimmy, don't fire unless you have to. We want everything from the backside. I'm not asking why. Okay, whatever you say. At this point, as it starts to approach and come behind that freeway sign, and I've already been instructed not to hit anybody but Kennedy because they didn't want Jackie getting hurt or anybody else, I'm fixing to lose my field of fire. And at this point, either I shoot or I can put it in a suitcase and leave, one or the other. I took the shot. I fired one shot only. Well, I was aiming for his right eye, which to me is the left side of his head looking head on. But for him, it would be his right eye. And when I pull the trigger, I'm right in on it. And it's almost like looking 6 feet away through the scope. As I squeezed, take off my round, his head moved forward, I missed, and I coming right along the temple, just right behind the eye. No, all right, well, I'm not sure, but I can't see the penetration. I know I hit him right here. I know I hit behind the eye, somewhere within a half-inch diameter right there, Snake. What I believe is
if you reach for my chain, I'm going to send your ass to God. Don't ask me about my pieces or you will see Jesus. I'm just letting you know, if you so happen to look at my chain, I'm going to blow your ass off. If you so happen to ask, Grove Hero, can I touch your chain? I'm going to blow your ass off. If you so happen to just stare at my chain, I'm going to blow your ass off.